March Madness is here. It's Selection Sunday, so you already know what time it is. You got to fill out your bracket. And who better to help than us? I'm Jeff J. This is David Gardner, college hoops expert extraordinaire, who's going to make every pick for you so that you can be a bracket master too. Dave, are you ready?
I'm ready. You're too kind to me, Jeff, but let's get going.
All right. We made the first round picks for you, so you don't got to do that. So let's get right on to the second round in the Eastern region. I see Zion. I see Belmont. I see Michigan State. I see a whole lot of compelling matchups, but you let me know who's getting out of the Sweet 16.
Well, let's start at the top, and let's start where it's easy. It's going to be Duke moving forward to the Sweet 16. They're the most talented team in the country, and I like them to face up against an ACC opponent. Virginia Tech just got Justin Robinson back. That's going to be a great ACC matchup in the Sweet 16.
Okay.
Moving to the bottom half of the East region, every year a team comes out of the first four and ends up making a run, and I think this year it's going to be Belmont.
I feel like it's always Belmont at some point. I don't know.
They're here to play spoiler this year, and then I like them to face up against Michigan State. It's been a while, since 2015, since Michigan State was actually in the Sweet 16. They're back there this year.
I know V-Tech and Duke, Zion wasn't there, but there's a theme with me. Zion is here. Is he going to be the difference once again?
Like you said, they lost to Virginia Tech in February at Virginia Tech, but the difference is Zion is back, and he is a difference maker. They're going to get to the Elite Eight.
He's pretty good. He's all right.
I've heard of him, yeah.
He's decent.
And then he is going to be facing off against Michigan State, a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense, a really well-balanced program for Tom Izzo. But, again, we're running up against Zion, RJ, Trey Jones. This is the team that is going to get to the Final Four. Duke is there, no question.
Got their four horsemen, bringing them all the way to the Final Four and out of our Eastern region. What's next up? We got the Western region, and yeah, you got the Zags, home state. Syracuse is here. The Buffalo Bulls, are they going to be charging? Michigan's got a elite squad coming back, a seasoned squad, but you let me know what it's really going to be.
Yeah, I think this is a more difficult matchup than it seems like on paper. That Syracuse zone has caused trouble for people in the NCAA tournament. It's not going to do so for Gonzaga. They're going to move on to the Sweet 16. And then this is everybody's favorite player in the NCAA tournament. It's going to be Ja Morant, and he is moving forward, helping them face off with Gonzaga in the Sweet 16. In the bottom half of the West Regional, I like Texas Tech to move forward. We were just talking about great guards, and Jarrett Culver is another fantastic guard. He's going to be a top 10 pick in the NBA draft, and I like them to face off against Michigan. That team is so well coached. They're so tough to match up against in the NCAA tournament. So there's your Sweet 16 going forward here in the West.
Now, we got a lot of great players in this tournament, and Ja Morant is going to have the tournament buzzing this entire season. But is that really going to be enough to get up against Gonzaga? I don't know. What do you think?
Unfortunately not. Gonzaga is such a well-balanced team. They've got Killian Tilly back for the NCAA tournament. Front court, back court, they're loaded, and it's going to be too much for Murray State at the end of the day. The Racers, it's the end of the race for them. And then they're going to move forward against Michigan. This is a familiar matchup with the West Regional. These teams were both in the West Regional last year. This is going to be a great game. I like Gonzaga to move forward against Michigan and get to Minneapolis.
Yeah, I think you've picked a real great tournament so far, and this has got Gonzaga going out of the West. Let's see what's next. We got the South region. Virginia, let's hope they make it for their sake. Let's hope that that's right. UC Irvine, the Anteaters. How can you not select Anteaters? Oregon, that's a 12-13. A lot of compelling matchups. Tell me what you're thinking.
I think the South region is going to be one of the more surprising regions. I wouldn't be surprised if this one is the one that breaks a lot of people's brackets. No team coming in with more pressure than Virginia, though, and I like them to advance to the Sweet 16 pretty easily. And like you said, the Anteaters, I like them to advance here. It's a really well-coached team, a really disciplined team, and I think UC Irvine is going to be one of your surprising teams moving forward. Going down to the bottom half here of the South region, the defending national champions, Villanova, this was supposed to be a rebuilding year for them. It turned out that they had some struggles on the road, but I like the way that they've played. I like them as a three-point shooting team, and I think they're going to move forward here. And I think they're going to face Tennessee. Tennessee had a very disappointing SEC tournament matchup. They lost in the finale to Auburn, and I think this year is going to be their year to move forward here to the Sweet 16. Villanova, Tennessee in the Sweet 16.
Now, I feel like the last thing that Virginia fans want to see is a 10 or more seed facing them at any point in this tournament, but they got the Anteaters in the Sweet 16. According to your expert picks, you tell me, Is it going to be deja vu all over again for the Wahoos?
You're right. Virginia's the only team that's rooting for chalk as the number 1 seed. They want the highest matchups they can get to. Virginia is going to move forward here. Tony Bennett has a fantastic team. On paper, they're the best team in the country, and there's no question about it. And I like them to move forward here against the defending national champions in Villanova. Again, this wasn't supposed to be their year, but I like what they've got. Seniors in Phil Booth and Eric Paschal. These are guys who have been there before. You know who team has not been there before? Virginia, and they're not going to get there again. I like Villanova to go back to the Final Four.
Yeah, this seems like bracket disaster all around, but a real great matchup
For
the
someone,
South.
it could be for me, though.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Midwest region, got Carolina, you got Kansas, you got a lot of name brand teams in this round. Who's going on to the Sweet 16?
I think this is your region of death right here. And so I like coming out of here, talent there, North Carolina. You know, Washington is coming from the Pac-12. What a terrible year that conference had this year. North Carolina moves forward pretty easily. And then Kansas, I don't know how they do it, but every year they end up in the Midwest, and they're back there again, home cooking, North Carolina and Kansas. I'm not complaining because that's a great matchup.
Exactly.
And down here in the bottom half, I like Iowa State to advance. Again, a battle-tested tournament team, the Big 12 here, Iowa State. And then you've got Houston coming out of the American. They're not that strong. They lost on Selection Sunday. Iowa State moves forward, and I like them to face Kentucky. This is not the Kentucky team that you're used to seeing here. This is laden with some upperclassmen as well as some freshmen, and I like that talent for them. And we're going to see where they go forward here in just a minute.
This Sweet 16 looks like one of those brackets where it actually works out the way you think it's going to work out with the fantastic name brand teams that are in the Sweet 16, the blue blood teams. North Carolina, Kansas, wow. That's like a dream matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Who's coming out of that one?
The only difference that I see that could make it so that Kansas wins this game is if someone like Quentin Grimes comes on and becomes a really strong three-point shooter. But I like the way North Carolina runs. I love the balance on them, and I love how well they've played in the ACC. And then coming down here, I like them to place Kentucky. Again, North Carolina, Kansas, but then North Carolina, Kentucky. How lucky would we be to see this kind of matchup?
That might be an NBA game, low-key.
It is,
like, you know?
absolutely. In a few years, it will be.
Right.
And coming out of this Midwest regional, I like Kentucky moving forward to the Final Four.
Right, we got our road to Minneapolis set. Duke, Gonzaga, Villanova, Kentucky, in any year, this would be a marquee. But for your picks, Dave, who's coming out? Will Zion be able to overcome and bring Duke to the national championship?
I think this is where the road is going to end for Duke. The big weakness for that team is that they lack any kind of outside shooting, and I think Gonzaga is going to take advantage, and they're going to move forward to the national championship game, where I like them to face up against Kentucky. Like I said earlier, this isn't just freshmen. They've got Tyler Hero and Keldon Johnson, who are fantastic players, but they've also got Reed Travis, the transfer from Stanford to Kentucky, and they've got P.J. Washington, who came back for a second year. I love them moving forward to the national championship game, but I think that's where it ends for them. I think Gonzaga, this is Mark Few's 20th season at Gonzaga. I think this is the year that he's going to bring home a national championship for the Bulldogs. Rui Hachimura, Brandon Clark, Killian Tilly healthy. This is the year these guys do it.
Well, Dave just told you Gonzaga's going to make it happen. Somewhere John Stockton is popping bottles and getting it on ice early. There you have it. That is your entire selection. And if you are successful with this, Dave has a good Cash App you can send some money to. Please make sure to give him some love.
Tip your hosts.
Hey, that works too. We'll see you on the next video.